Wyatt was on duty that first week when the cinema closed due to the quarantine we're all dealing with right now. For better or for worse, he didn't want to go back for the second week. I guess being paid minimum wage to literally sit around all day doing nothing was worse than sitting around all day serving customers. It makes sense in a way. There's no distractions, so the clock moves slower and slower every minute. Jamie and Patricia alternated on the second week. The managers took care of week 3, but I guess it was beneath them because I was assigned to week 4 by myself. I guess I should be thankful. So many people are without work right now, and I was getting paid to sit around all day. You might be wondering why the hell they were staffing a closed cinema in the first place. Well, welcome to 2020, where we pay 19-year-olds to babysit the concession stands of empty theaters on the off chance an Uber Eats order comes in because some suburbanite could not go another day without a $15 bag of popcorn and a $10 bar of candy. I'm not kidding. Load up the food app and look up any major cinema. They're out there and they're open for deliveries. Frankly, it's ridiculous. I guess the bosses felt guilty because we were given carte blanche to do whatever we wanted while waiting for orders to come in. And orders did not come in very often. I had initially written off the text Wyatt had sent our coworker chat group after his first week on duty as nothing. A simple "don't go into theater 15" with no explanation as to why. To be honest, it didn't exactly ring any alarm bells for me. Theater 15 had the gaming setup where we rent out to party groups. I figured he had logged into his account and was trying to protect his game data. Get wrecked, Wyatt. Come to work and log out if it matters so much to you. Shortly after that, the chat room exploded in memes, and the warning was buried underneath the weight of them. My first day back on the job was freaky. My manager stopped by to show me how to work the hot dog stand, which was separate from the concessions island. She left about an hour in. I had been at the cinema after closing a few times, so it's not like I wasn't used to a mostly empty building, but it was different without my coworkers. It was so eerily quiet. You could hear a pin drop. It was dark too. Not quite emergency lighting dark, but like about half of the fluorescent lights were shut off to conserve electricity. I wasn't sure how many orders to expect, so I spent that first evening meandering the large lobby, using my employee pass to play arcade games for free, browsing the internet on my phone, and eating a metric ton of popcorn. I sat there from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. 7 hours. And in that time, I got one order. A single order. Small popcorn, extra butter. Can you believe that? Imagine having that much disposable income. I had to clean the machines an hour or so after use, bringing the grand total of work-related tasks accomplished that night to a whopping 2. Definitely earned my paycheck. It felt like babysitting once the kids have gone to bed and the parents just leave out a bunch of junk food for you. The second night, I felt more comfortable wandering off. I kept a work tablet on me so I'd know when an order came in. Grabbed the newest releases that had arrived right before the official shutdown, and settled into Theater 1 to watch movies all night. We didn't get any orders that evening, so that was great. Someone did call asking whether we were open, which, lady, did you not hear the pre-recorded message saying that we were closed at the start of the call? She was like, "You guys are open, right?" And I was like, "You're kidding. Seriously, some people." The third night, the manager had pinned a list of tasks for me on the bulletin board. It was spring cleaning kind of stuff. Organize the uniforms by size, take inventory, deep clean the hallways. I cranked up the music on my phone and had myself a mini cleaning montage, interrupted once or twice for orders, popcorn, and honestly, I can't wrap my head around this. Nachos and cheese. Who the hell orders nachos and cheese for delivery? Especially theater nachos with the plastic cheese. I'm honestly throwing up in my mouth just thinking about it. Moving on. I don't know if the boss expected the tasks to take me a few shifts, but I finished everything in one night. Nothing new showed up on the bulletin board, so on the fourth night, I got my gaming on. Glorious Theater 15 with all the latest gaming consoles and a little library of games to play. I had it all to myself. Have you ever thought of exploring the wilds of Hyrule on the big screen? Because let me tell you, it's incredible. Everything was great at first, but after maybe half an hour, I started to get this weird creepy crawly feeling over my shoulders. That I'm feeling watched feeling, you know? I knew I was alone, so it was completely irrational, but I couldn't shake it no matter how hard I tried. I had to get up and move to the last row so I would have the wall behind me. It helped a lot, but the sensation never fully left. And then the blood moon started rising in the game, and I was like, yep, screw this. I closed the game and went for a little power walk to shake off my nerves. That damn blood moon music, man, why is it so unsettling? I went back after a bit and put on everyone's favorite red and blue plumber because there's nothing creepy about jumping around and grabbing coins. It was fine. Everything was fine. Nothing weird was happening. And yet, slowly, that feeling came back. I swept the whole room by gaze, and my stomach dropped when I saw someone sitting in the front row. I went through a roller coaster of emotions. Instant panic, rationalization, counter-rationalization, and more panic. Like, who the hell is that? Oh, it must be the manager. Wait, the manager would at least call first before showing up. Tense, I pawed around for my flashlight without taking my eyes off the figure. I aimed the light right at them. When I did, the seat was empty. I didn't see the movement of someone ducking down or anything like that. The seat was just empty. I panned the light around and nobody was there. No figure, nothing. I had to walk down there and check row by row just to make sure. Nope, no one. I convinced myself it was a shadow, maybe a bug on the projector reflecting an image. But at that point, I was done with Theater 15 for the night. I put everything away and headed back into the lobby, narrating everything I was doing in a sing-song voice because that's how I tend to cope with my nerves. Just as I arrived in the lobby, I nearly had a heart attack because the phone suddenly rang. I picked it up and, "Hi, are you guys open?" Jesus Christ. The rest of the shift was uneventful, though every now and again paranoia would hit, and I'd find myself looking over my shoulders, thinking one of my coworkers was playing a trick on me. I'd loudly announce what I was doing and where I was going and say, "I know you're there," to try and keep them from jumping out at me. But yeah, it didn't really help my nerves. I was okay on the fifth night. I had given myself a good old pep talk. No, there was nothing weird about Theater 15. Wyatt's bizarre message just got in my head. Everything was fine. There was nothing scary at all. Go play your video games. I got an early order of popcorn, so there was plenty left over for me to take into Theater 15. I chewed loudly and bravely announced to the room that I wasn't afraid and that I was going to have fun this evening. But, despite my newfound courage and conviction, I still sat in the very back row. I started exploring Hyrule again, surviving another blood moon, finished my popcorn. Everything was swell. And then, in the last row of the first set of seats, I saw it again. I saw it with my own two eyes, not from the corner of my eyes, not for a split second before it was gone, not something projected from the screen at seat level. It was sitting there. It was a person. I could see the outline of a male haircut. I could see a neck and shoulders. I could see some slight movement to it. I stood up quickly, knocking over my empty bag of popcorn. I pulled out my flashlight, aimed the beam right at the chair, and nothing. Not a damn thing. In the distance, I heard the phone ringing, and I hurried out of the room without checking the row so I could answer the phone. Another person asking if we were open. Bro. I massaged my temples and paced back and forth in the lobby. It was crazy. Being afraid of a theater room was crazy, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't go back in there. I left my trash in there and I moved to the other side of the building, watching a movie in Theater 1 instead, where it felt nice and safe. There's nothing more emboldening than the light of day and a good night's sleep. 3 p.m. on my 6th day at work, I showed up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I headed to Theater 15 to clean up yesterday's mess. I had all of the lights on to see better. Yeah, we'll go with that. I climbed up the stairs all the way to the back of the theater and scooped up my trash into a dustbin. As I turned around to go back down the stairs, I swear to God, I saw someone standing halfway up the middle rows. I blinked hard, and when I opened my eyes again, they were gone. So I thought, okay, buddy, you're losing your mind. Great. I so badly wanted not to be afraid of that room. You have no idea. Badly enough that I actually went in with the last of the movies I hadn't watched yet. I kept up that obnoxious habit of talking to myself. Wow, what a great movie I'm sitting here watching, in a perfectly normal theater room. No ghosts here. Nope. Everything is fine and dandy. What an idiot. I could hear my own voice trembling. I had nothing to prove to anyone. So why was I subjecting myself to this torture? If you guessed that things weren't fine and dandy, you are absolutely right. At some point while watching the movie, I felt that feeling again. My chest grew tight and I started to feel lightheaded. I could sense him in the theater. I didn't even have to look at the bottom rows. He was down there. Goosebumps formed on my arms, equal parts fear-induced and due to a sudden drop in temperature. It wasn't just my imagination. I could see my own breath lingering in the air. I shivered as I glued my eyes to the screen, trying not to look down as fear held me in my seat. I saw the figure in my peripheral vision move from one seat to the next, lining himself up as though purposely trying to put himself in direct line of sight. The lights were on. The movie was playing. I had my hand on my phone. I had every opportunity to run or call for help. But I couldn't. I held my breath as he suddenly seemed to phase into the next row up, now only 2, maybe 3 rows away from me. It was hard to tell without looking directly at him. I tried not to make a sound, as if I could make myself invisible if I was motionless and quiet enough. When I saw him phase into a row even closer, I lost it. Finally able to move, I threw my popcorn at him and ran down the stairs as fast as I could. I don't even know if my popcorn hit anything. I didn't look back. I just ran to the lobby, the only place I felt safe, and called my manager saying that someone had broken in. She told me to wait outside and said she was on her way. She and another manager arrived and we swept the entire building room by room, but no one was there. Of course no one was there. It was a goddamn ghost. Not that I'd tell them that. She actually had the nerve to ask if I could still come in for the next day. Can you believe that? I said no, and she offered to review the security footage. For some reason, that made me feel a little better. We looked at the tapes and confirmed no one had come in or out of the theater aside from me. We went through an entire week's worth of footage just to be sure. There's no video of inside the room itself. Studios don't allow it even if the cameras aren't aimed at the screens. She said she swore she'd get someone else to come in after tomorrow, but she needed me one last night. She couldn't get anyone else on such short notice, blah blah blah. I figured, all right, as long as I don't go into that room, I should be fine. On the last night, I was a nervous wreck. Every shadow made me flinch. Every stupid arcade game coming to life made my heart stutter. Every pop of the popcorn made me think I was going to die. I didn't go into a single theater that night. Not number 15, not any of them. I was like a tiger in a cage, pacing around, watching and waiting. I didn't get a single order that night. I felt like I was wasting my time. The hours were so long. Then, at around 8 p.m., the phone rang. I wanted to scream at this idiot who couldn't seem to get the message that we're in a quarantine and the cinema is closed. Yes, hello, how may I help you? I said through gritted teeth. Then I heard breathing on the other end. Slow and shallow. It lasted for a few long, uncomfortable seconds before the voice spoke in the low rasp of an older man.
What's playing in Theater 15?
I know the voice came from the phone. I had the receiver up against my ear after all. But I swear on my life that I also heard the voice coming from directly behind me. I left the cinema then and there. Screw my shift. Screw my replacement. I left the machine with popcorn still in it. I didn't tell anyone I was going. I just walked out. Corporate sent out an email today. Due to trouble staffing, our one particular cinema is going to shut down from now until the end of the quarantine.